is the Sterling vs. Podcast, here to inform and entertain the Sonic fan in you. Welcome and enjoy the show.
Hello everyone, this is the Sterling vs. Podcast. I'm your host, Silver Rhymes, and today we have a little surprise for you. Elmer Lance going to be here today, so we've got a special co-host.
Hello everyone, I'm Ryan Stanford, also known as Duskullum or Blackarms.
Everyone, this is Ryan. He's a pretty cool guy, and I feel that you'll all like him because he's been around the block a couple of times when it comes to Sonic-related dealios. So I'm going to ask him to talk about himself a little so you can get acquainted. And then after that, we'll hop right into the news. So I know you as Blackarms, first of all. I've actually first heard about you when I watched some of your Sonic parodies, and I thought that was pretty cool. But you've done plenty of other things. So if you want to start from the beginning, go right ahead, Mr. Stanford.
Okay, well, basically what started with, on the internet at least, is that when I got my computer, there was this one guy who I knew actually through my dad, which was a strategy guide writer. And originally Shadow Hedgehog came out, he showed me a little bit of stuff, and I was like, and that's when some people might first started meeting. That's also where I adapted the name Blackarms, where people were asking me why did I name myself Blackarms on the board before the name was actually announced to be Blackarms. I kind of reserved the name before the Blackarms were even known. But going on with all that, though, is from there, I just started doing some things which I had fun doing, including, improv voice acting. Improv voice acting basically just means making fan dubs, parodies, and stuff off the top of your head. So, made some things, and I started talking around with people, and I also, for better or worse, am very up-to-date on news that's going on, which is why lots of my friends turn to me whenever they don't know what's going on in gaming news and ask me. Besides that, right now, I recently graduated from high school, is looking into college, and studying game engines.
Very, very cool guy, right, indeed. Seems that you've done a lot. What are you up to nowadays? Because recently, at least since I've missed out on your latest happenings, you no longer, your old account is closed on YouTube, from what I know. So I kind of just haven't heard about you until just recently meeting up with you on the boards and seeing that you're actually doing some kind of Let's Plays on YouTube right now, but you also have a website. You want to talk about that maybe a little?
Oh, sure. Okay, well, for the website, which right now is located at Gaming Parodies, but that's right now just temporary, as me and my best friend, who I've known since first grade, are right now working on a few layouts and designs, and I was trying to think of a good name for the website, so right now it's just an experimental phase. Mm-hmm. Our YouTube accounts have gone banned like crazy. I just want to clarify that. Like this, I believe, is like our 12th account. That's not even a joke.
Oh, wow.
I know. I think so. But we don't give up. We just continue uploading. If we get banned, that's not good, but we'll just continue. And actually, this account has been going fairly well. We have over 200 videos and not a single warning.
Oh, man. Pretty exciting stuff. Let's see. So yeah, that's our good friend Blackarms right there, or Duskullum.
That's me.
All these names floating in my head. I'm not used to it. No. Well, it's great to have you here. I hope you enjoy yourself. We're on the serious side of things. We like to get things done, but it also lax because we're always changing schedules. I mean, just last week, me and Lance had quite the discussion. We were just gonna throw out the entire schedule. So maybe, who knows? Maybe three of us, or maybe just you and me, could have a little heated debate one of these days. We're just fresh friends, but no one ever knows. We might have some, views that might differ. Might, really get heated. Yeah, conflict. Right on to the news. Let's start with some DLCs that were released for the Xbox and PS3. Metal Sonic has been added to All-Star Racing, and that's pretty exciting stuff right there. And also Death Egg Zone, which I believe mirrors the one from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. So pretty specific stuff. So Black, do you own the Xbox or PS3 and possibly have the console versions of this game and possibly have download the DLC by any chance?
Well, I do have a 360 and a Wii, but I don't have access to downloadable content because I don't own the game yet. But I can give some impressions of what I've seen.
Okay, cool. Share with us.
Well, personally, for one, of course, it's always interesting seeing how the developers took on the really old Death Egg Zone and put on their own twist. Like, the whole zone, I think, does a really good job at making itself still be a Star Wars ripoff. That sounds kind of strange, but I mean, if you look at the laser cannons, they look just like these droids that were from Star Wars, and they even have, like, just lots of elements from it, which I thought was kind of funny. But some of the stuff which they do, like the notable Ristar cameo, do you have any words about that?
Right, the Ristar cameo. I forgot about that. How can I forget about that? Ristar now makes an appearance in the game. He's I missed it. Whether he's just in this level, he's just kind of just hanging out, or is he just? Cause I forgot if when you download the level, if he's like just included in that level, or does he now appear on other tracks? I haven't checked.
I don't think he appears on other tracks, but I wouldn't be able to say for sure. But I'm pretty sure he's just in Death Egg right next to these lasers. One interesting thing which I have to say though. Soul, which is one of the people from Sumo Digital who made the game, who are pretty open with the community, mentioned that in the beta version of the Dark Arsenal stage or racetrack, Sonic Sega All-Star Racing, there was originally supposed to be laser gates, which were obviously not in the final. However, though, it looks like they actually took the laser gate idea from Dark Arsenal and put it into the Death Egg Zone.
It's pretty cool. Cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm honestly really excited about having Metal Sonic finally. I saw his gameplay. I think his vehicle thing looks pretty hot. As for his All-Star move, it was not what I expected, but it was definitely something. Not to spoil anything. It looks cool. It looks cool, I must say. But it does, it definitely threw me off. Like, what is going on? But yeah, it's definitely a cool cart. And the level. Oh, I can't wait to play that level, because I don't, as everyone knows, I have the DS version, and I'm holding out to get the console version when I get a PS3, which is very soon. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And I'm just gonna get all over this. I'm gonna do everything all over again, the PS3 version, and I'm getting this DLC. I talked about it on a forum somewhere, that it might be a little pricey for just the character and track. I think, let me see, I think it's $8 for the whole thing, but I think I'll just get it anyway, because it's Metal Sonic. It's like, wow. Whether I could have gone, whether I would have felt better with a different character, like not Sonic, I probably would have felt really better about that, but I think Metal Sonic, I think they really picked a cool character, because if anyone recalls, in the Sonic Drift, I think it was both, Metal Sonic was there. So I think that they kind of just, besides Knack, they kind of have pretty much the original cast right there, brought into ASR, and I think that's spiritually pretty cool. Like, oh, you just kind of carried everything over. All right, enough rambling about that.
I actually have one more thing to say about it, though, before you continue.
Yes.
The other thing, though, is if a rumor is true, which was originally posted before Metal Sonic came about, Metal Sonic is the first piece of downloadable content. The next thing we might be seeing now, of all things, is actually Bayonetta's downloadable content.
Yes, I actually talked about that in a previous show, and I thought it would be awesome.
Well,
because she rides a vehicle, to my knowledge, at some point in the game.
He does.
Yes. And her on a motorcycle. Oh my god.
Should we go on to the next piece of news?
Oh, right. For all those with an iPad, they released Super Monkey Ball 2 Sakura Edition for the iPad. Little bit of game release there. I've never actually played Super Monkey Ball.
You haven't played Monkey Ball?
I haven't. It just. I think I might have played one of the early ones, and just, well, this is kind of silly. but they keep releasing these games, and I'm like, is it, do kids really like this? Is it that big of a deal?
It's great. I have to put in my input for a second. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt, Silva, with your news.
All right.
Super Monkey Ball is definitely not for kids. It seems really cheesy at first, but you don't know how insane these levels demand of you and all the perplexing puzzles that they have on you, and timing and all the abilities that you need. The reason why they keep releasing Super Monkey Ball games is because the first 2 Monkey Ball games for the GameCube were actually received very well, and they're actually really good games. You might play the party mode, which is a bit more kiddish, but the actual games themselves are turmoils. I mean, easy difficulty is easy, but then when you get above that, it just gets increasingly hard, demanding so much of the player, and not so much demanding time, demanding skill and ability, and also demanding that you are able to think well. The basic premise of Monkey Ball is that you're not actually controlling the monkey, you're controlling the stage the monkey's on. So then you gotta get the monkey to the goal on the stage. It's kind of like a game where you try to roll the ball while tilting the stage to get there, except with lots of excruciating gimmicks, puzzles, and all that to get to the very end.
The more you know.
I do have one question. Yeah. Super Monkey Ball 2 is my personal favorite entry in the series. What's the difference with the Sakura edition for the iPad? Any ideas?
New 4-player multiplayer game, Far East world, and enhanced visuals is what's being so exclusive for the iPad, and that's all it says. For $10, y'all get it. It was released today, actually. Let's see. Yeah.
Wow.
Released today. Now I guess I have to play some more Monkey Ball. Now that I'm older, wiser, maybe I'll appreciate it more. Right. Let's see. Moving right along. Infinite Space. I don't know if I mentioned this before, in the previous show, but I'm gonna make the promise before I forget about it. And even though I've been putting off the other review for a while, I'll be giving it today, hopefully, maybe, if time permits. But I will be playing Infinite Space, and we'll be giving you guys a review. And it's for the DS, I believe. It's made by Platinum Games, right. So same peeps who made Bayonetta. I'm looking forward to it. Before just wanting to play it, because since we do try to provide as many Sega game experiences and showing it to you, I wanted to see look upon this a little bit. It's now I have to check again. It's a strategy RPG in space with spaceships, I think. Yes, I believe. And I saw some on foot fighting. So I think it's a mixture of that. If Black here thinks knows anything about it, he can jump in anytime if he does.
Don't know much about Infinite Space, but I do know a little bit about the next project, so I'm gonna wait for that.
Next project. But yeah, look forward to my Infinite Space review. Not really my type of, I played RPGs, but strategy RPGs. If it's anything like Disgaea or what's the other one? There's another one. See, now that's gonna haunt me. I don't know the name of the game. The other game I wanted to reference. I got it. I got it on my desk right now, and I just dropped. Anyway, strategy RPG is not usually my thing, but I'm gonna play this, and I'm looking forward to it, and I will give you my review. All right, next thingy.
Because it's immediately related to Infinite Space, Platinum Games' next project, which is called Vanquish, by the way, I remember the name, is actually being directed by the person who made the Resident Evil series and Devil May Cry series for people who ever played Capcom games. But of course, since Clover Studios was disbanded from Capcom, Sega's taken them in, and Vanquish is now their next big title. It's actually a third-person shooter type thing, except the big emphasis on it isn't that it's a third-person shooter. You're like basically this character who is right now exploring a station or a satellite right now going to outer space as there is some weird alien robot attack. It emphasizes on the fact that you're attacking robots, not humans, not just because they look like robots, but they basically act and you have to kill them like robots, not like humans. Headshots won't kill them. They have lots of different limbs and abilities according to them. Some are really large, some are really small. You have to free the station, and with that, your character is kind of similar, I guess, to a Gundam in the sense that he can start flying around all over the place and you can do quick boosts and all these really extreme moves. And he has all different types of things, including sort of a light, it's like a light sword type thing, and wings, etc. There's more news coming on the game because it's well projected to come out later next year. But Platinum is right now developing it. It looks nice, and a new trailer is supposed to be shown at E3.
Ooh, I'm just tingled with that. Excited about it. See, now I just found the game name. The game I was trying to reference before is Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor, and that's a mouthful. But that's a pretty.
I know. I was gonna say. Yeah.
It's highly rated, and they're coming out with sequel anytime soon. But besides that, this next project sounds pretty sweet. All right, so big thing happened in the last 2 weeks. Easter. Easter was Easter happened. Easter's a pretty big deal, right?
I know. Everyone cares about Easter. I wanted those chocolate eggs.
Yeah, I got a box of marshmallow-filled chocolate eggs downstairs. I might get one later, but Easter.
I owe my candy on Easter. I'm so fat. I'm not.
And the entirety of Sonic 4 was leaked. Yeah, big deal. No, crazy. I know. Sonic 4, the entirety leaked. Just everything. I'm actually speechless. The soundtrack was leaked, and I was like, wow, this is a pretty big deal. 2 levels were leaked, 3, and we were like, oh, well, this is larger, kind of something we really didn't expect. And then, of course, same person who released, who leaked everything else, leaked the entire game to the community. Everything, every level, the ending, and I really don't know where to start with this. First of all,
guys,
I didn't watch the ending. I didn't watch and
so
then,
I should avoid any spoilers.
We should on the show. We always try to avoid spoilers. So, being that Mr. Black here is new, so let's remind him that if he's seen the ending or read about it, because I know he frequents Sonic Retro, which we all can agree is a very reputable site, and where most of this went down. Being that he's frequents there, he knows a lot more, whether he's seen it or not. Let's remind him that try to avoid any spoilers, especially to me, because I plan on getting the game, and I don't want my whole experience ruined. Okay, so
I do.
Black, tell us.
Yeah.
Tell us or not tell us, either or, just go.
I'll avoid spoilers. Don't even worry about it. I can leave some stuff about the game. For starters, apparently when you buy Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1, you aren't just getting Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1 if you're getting it for the 360, that is. Did you hear about this?
Oh.
Hmm? Oh? Okay, is this new to you? Well, I'll throw this out here then. It seems when you buy the game, just when you buy a game, you actually get a piece of clothing for your avatar.
Right.
When you buy the game, you get the Sonic the Hedgehog mask for your avatar.
Yes. Now it's
now it's coming right back.
Yes, it is.
Counter this though, when you beat the game, your character, you unlock the Sonic the Hedgehog fursuit. It's not a spoiler because it's in the full game description, but yeah.
So we get a fursuit.
Yeah, you get a fursuit when you beat the game. When you buy the game, you get a mask. And then everyone can have Sonic the Hedgehog as their avatars. Or live out their furry fantasies.
It's my dream to have fur-type clothing as an unlockable when I play my Sonic game.
Yeah.
I think when I get my PS3, would you say this is those more exciting than the ASR avatar bonus things? I think this tops it. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the game itself, the reason why there's so much there's a lot of backlash, but it's not backlash so much that the game's bad, it's just that I think lots of people had an idea what the game was going to be before they even saw it. because it's Sonic the Hedgehog freaking 4. But some people have complaints all over the board. Some people complain he starts off too slow. Some people complain that he's way too fast. He accelerates too quickly. He jumps too floaty. He jumps too low, etc. Blah, 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 blah. This is all because people had aforementioned things, and there's also one major thing I want to remind people who watch the leaked footage. The leaked footage was not an on-screen recording. The person recording it was recording with a camera. And two things to go with this is that he was actually recording closer to the screen, so lots of people were complaining that you couldn't see enough of the screen. Well, the reason why is because he wasn't recording the whole screen. He was only recording part of the screen. In fact, I did a little bit of measurement compared to a screenshot on his screen, and he was only recording about 2/3 of the screen, which makes it look like the screen's more zoomed in than it actually is, which makes everything else also look bigger, and in turn makes it look like Sonic runs to the total right of the screen because he only recorded that far and it wasn't the entirety of the whole entire section that he was showing off. The second thing, and this is something which is a bit amusing because in an interview recently with Eurogamer, they had an interview with Sonic Team and they confirmed that basically every stage in the game will have a low, high, and top path. In other words, like the Genesis games, there's multiple paths per stage. And remember guys, even though we have seen every single stage, not the entirety of the game has been spoiled because we've only seen one path through the stage. Still many more paths to see and secrets.
So for any gamer, the whole experience isn't just thrown out the window now. So yeah, pretty good. But still, whole game leak. What do you do? Wow. And yeah, if you guys need to check out for whatever reason anything Sonic 4 related, I suggest you go search it because on most sites it's been taken down. Yes, even Sonic Control.
Also, don't post anywhere.
Yeah, don't. Don't. In fact, not only do they take it down, just don't go there at all to mention Sonic 4. It's a bad idea, honestly. For all those who have an account there, just don't go. Don't do that. Just bad idea. As one of the mods said, his name is Scarred Son. She kind of just breaks it down for everyone. That let's see. In summation to where she said a lot. That it got really out of hand. The arguing just degraded into something just not pretty. And when I read it, I felt dirty. Being a Sonic fan, I mean, I'm not ashamed to be a Sonic fan, but when these kind of things happen, I just want to be like, I don't know, I don't recognize any blue hedgehogs. I don't do that. Sorry. And yes, essentially, they took everything down, Sonic 4 related. They're banning any discussion about Sonic 4. And basically, y'all should be ashamed of yourselves, basically.
Actually, I do have an update on this. Like 3 or 4 days ago, they started allowing discussion of Sonic 4 again, except no one's allowed to, of course, post any leaked content. There's not any spoiler discussion of stuff in the final zone or ending. And apparently Sega has come to this side of the thing where basically we're allowed to talk about it because they know they're not going to be able to control that. But no one anywhere is allowed to post anything. And this isn't just Sonic Retro. Sega is literally clamping down on it. In fact, on the night where the ending and final zone and final boss were all like posted, Sega and basically they seem to have contacted Microsoft, and the whole entire system of PartnerNet, which is likely where it was all leaked from, was closed down for the whole entire night, likely to investigation.
Because this was released by a PartnerNet, and that's one big mess there too. And there's one person, his name is Infinity, I believe, on the boards, who leaked all this. I would suspect he's in hot water now.
The problem is, no one knows who he is. Unfortunately, Infinity is kind of a very broad name. It's funny when I say it, because Infinity means infinite. Well, never mind.
Yeah. And I'd hate to be that guy. They track him down. He's liable for a lot of things, honestly. I just don't want to be that guy. But yeah, folks, watch out. Just please. I think I warned them last time. When it comes down to leaks, try not to get yourself caught up in that kind of mess, because this is serious business, and that's no joke.
Serious business. So I just want to say one thing before we continue subjects. I have to echo something which Sega said. This isn't a spoiler, but this is something which they said, and I have to agree with after I did see the ending. I'm such a dirty boy. But Basically, I think many people will be pleased by the cliffhanger ending. Silence. Yeah. And luckily, from the people who watched the ending, there were many people pleased with the cliffhanger ending, so that is always nice.
Let's see. I promised everyone a review on Sands of Destruction, but I might switch it up. I might change it. If Mr. Blackhair has any other news or any other little topics, since this is his first show, and I'd like to accommodate my guests if they wish to bring about any specific topic they want to specifically talk about, before they might lose the chain of news.
I do have one thing.
Ooh.
And I have to do it in a bit of an exaggerated voice. Hyperdimension Game Neptune! Hyperdimension Game Neptune is, a game for the PlayStation 3 where you play as a video game console. And these are actually something called console TANs. A console TAN, or an OC TAN as they're also known as, is basically when a video game console is turned into a woman. Now that sounds really weird, but basically the whole premise of the game is that you are playing as several game consoles, loosely based off of real-life video game consoles, but of course not directly said so, or else they'd be ripping off stuff. And you play as their feminine forms. You can transform into three things, because the consoles can either be a regular video game console, they can also transform into a robot, or they can transform into a girl. What more could you ask for? Actually, I could ask for a lot more, but that's not the point. Nah. The game itself is an RPG, or no more so a JRPG, for those people who aren't so interested in that type of stuff. But the premise itself is a bit interesting. Neptune, this game is Sega published, and Neptune is actually the name of a Sega console that was never released. It was right before the Sega Saturn was released. Originally, they thought that the 32X, which is where you could play Knuckles Chaotix and all that, they thought it was too expensive for people. So they were going to release a console called the Sega Neptune, which would basically provide you both with a Genesis and, 32X, both together, and a Sega CD. Basically, all of the consoles turned into one, but at the exact same time that they finished completion of it, the Sega Saturn was already available to ship out and be sold, so they just decided it wasn't worth it and people wouldn't buy it because they just wanted to move on to the next big thing, so they in the end never sold it. Even though Edge magazine in 2001 did pull an April Fool's joke where they said that Sega found a warehouse full of Sega Neptunes and were selling them, and it wasn't until hardcore collectors went to buy them that they realized it was an April Fool's joke. Now, going on with all that, though, the game and the premise, it seems that the main character, Neptune, is a representative of the Sega Neptune, and also it's kind of confirmed that there will also be physical representations of other Sega consoles, including Genesis, Dreamcast, and others, but besides Sega consoles, there's also going to be every console, including Nintendo consoles, Sony consoles, Microsoft consoles, etc. The game, in premise, reminds plenty of people of Sega Gaga. If you've never heard of that, that was an RPG, which is Japan only, which came out with the Dreamcast back when they were about to film the console wars. That's kind of a testament to what all Sega had done. It was an interesting RPG, and it's one I would always wish I could play sometime. But alas, other things that we know about the game is that there's a few lands inside the game, and I can't remember the names exactly. I'm going to have to remember, but there are 3 lands that are very cute references to the Nintendo Wii, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3, except they all point out the flaws of each console. Like, the one I remember off the top is Rui, and basically it's a joke on how the Wii is ruining Nintendo. And then I remember that the Xbox 360 land, or at least the name of it, is based on the fact that the Xbox 360 in its red ring of death. And PlayStation 3 is making joking at the fact that PlayStation 3 right now is the last in the console wars this generation. I hope lots of fun, and we'll have to see more as this game develops. And what do you think about this, Silva?
Oh man, this seems like a really strange concept to me. But as a frequenter to DeviantArt, you see a couple things, and one of them being human forms of various stuff, just whether it be an ordinary object, an idea, a feeling, whatever. Everything is personified and actually takes human shape. And specifically, there's this subgenre for just females where something just turned into a female form. And I've seen many representations of the consoles, kind of as a little fun idea to play around with. Like all the consoles are female, and usually it's just kind of there for eye candy. Like, oh, this the PS3, being so advanced, it has all this technical equipment on, and it looks very very hot and sexy, and the Wii is very cutesy and is designed with blue and white and all that. And I've seen a lot of that, whether on purpose or on passerby is can't really say about. But as such, people get the idea of like, oh, you make up all these characters for stuff we're used to. We want to maybe see them in maybe a little together, maybe in a story of sorts, or maybe even fighting, which is something people novelize. There's an anime out there where all the countries in the world are major countries are like turned into people, and then they have adventures. I've never watched it. I just know that exists and people love it. Pretty cool. And also I think there's a manga out there where all the OSs, like Windows and Mac and all different versions, are also personified into all females, of course. And they have their little escapades, put it lightly. And I think this is just another step, I guess, created to kind of what's the word for it? Kind of look well, not look back, but look around and take in that there are a lot of consoles out. We're in a new generation, and we can do anything, even take the consoles themselves and turn them into people. Why not? Crazy concept, but I feel the idea's been around for a while, and people will love it. And people are gonna love it. It's just gonna be I feel the gameplay is gonna be good, but the concept itself seems really something that'll hold strong, and people will just I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be fun. Yeah, that's my take on it.
Well, and with that said, I'm ready for your review, especially since I know nothing about this game. Really.
All right. I think we usually do a cutoff here. I guess for everything else, we could hold off. Let's see what's on the agenda. I still got my review to do. I guess we could hold off that till next week. I still got we did not forget, everyone, about our for a little debate, me and Lance, for All Stars Racing versus Mario Kart. We're still doing that, and you're still gonna get my review. We're in no big rush here because we take things slow, but we like to get things done. So I promise you that. I hope Black here has enjoyed his stay here. Yes, and we enjoyed having him here. It's definitely been fun, and I'd like to, kind of officiate him into our team. Probably we'll see him around a bit. He's definitely a resourceful guy. He likes to help. He's very versatile. I give him big props for coming all the way up here. And any last words to wrap up the show, Black?
I'm gonna probably stay up all night and play horror games.
Hope you get scared a bit. It's all good. It's always good to be scared, but since you play a lot, you probably don't. Nothing really affects you, right? These horror games they're labeled horror, but they're not really scared of you, right?
I wet myself. No, but actually, I play a lot of horror games, but going on with all that is that I find them a lot of fun, but honestly, I'm not the bravest person in the world. I enjoy them, I love them so much, and I get through them just fine, but I love it when they're creepy. In other words, I do get scared, but I love getting scared. If that makes any sense.
Oh, man. We all love getting scared. I actually love watching scary movies, because I just, there's a certain comedy in, scaring oneself. But as to playing, I don't think I could ever bring myself to do so because I've seen games like Fear played, and the person playing it would get scared, and I'd be just as scared. I'd freak out. And of course, when it comes to games, I like to be steady. If I'm freaking out, yeah, the game's doing its job, but I sometimes can drop the controller differently. But yes, thank you all for joining us on our show. Let's give a big hand to Blackarms here. And catch us next week.